You're in tune to Out of Lives. www.outoflives.net.
Can't handle the truth.
Hello and welcome to the Out of Lives podcast, the number 255th best podcast in the world, and closing in on Bird Watchers Weekly. Oh yeah. I'm your host with the least, Kevin Tarn, and this week I'm joined by the guy who Lad's Bible ripped off once, the one we call Captain News, but you may know him by his alter ego, Dave, sellotaper baby to the wall, Wyatt.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
And also joining me is the man with a plan, the man who no woman can withstand, the incredible, the Scottish, the quite average hottish, Ross, Indecent Exposure, Miller.
Please don't give my rap sheet out on a podcast.
Sorry, mate. I feel like there should be some sort of theme tune playing for them intros. They're that good.
Captain News definitely is a theme tune.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that quite generous introduction, if I do say so myself, Mr. Miller, not including the court case, what has been your highlight of the week?
Well, getting off of that court case was pretty huge. But I would probably say my highlight of the week was probably Football Manager.
Really? Is your life that boring?
But wait, I've got no idea what you're talking about. It is one of the most complete games ever made. It gets better every single year. I'm now Hull.
So Dave, what about you?
I didn't actually think of this in advance, so my highlight would probably be I started watching The Man in the High Castle on Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, is it any good? That's on my to watch list.
Yeah, I've watched 1.5 episodes, so I can't give a full-on review, but
the fact you stopped halfway through an episode, is that a bad sign?
No, it's a sign that I had to come and do a podcast on the Sunday.
Oh, okay, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm definitely eager to get back in and watch more, which is a good sign.
The premise of that is about the Germans winning the war, wasn't it? I think I read.
Well, yeah, it's set in the 65, I think, and the Germans, the Nazis won the war, and now the Germans and the Japanese have a sort of quite an uneasy alliance, and they take half of the Americas each.
Right.
But there's these propaganda films going around that show our history. So it's like, is this propaganda film or is this actually an insight into our universe?
Oh, I see. So it's sort of like a parallel universe sort of thing.
That sounds fucking awful.
Oh, that's interesting.
Better than Football Manager. I think it's because I didn't get it from there, but I hadn't really seen much about it. I literally watched this word of mouth from a friend. So I was not expecting there to be a sort of almost science fiction element to it.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be completely alternate history, but no, there seems to be something else going on behind the scenes. It's really intriguing. I really recommend it.
Interesting to see what they do with that then, because that could get quite tricky if they start messing about in like alternate realities sort of thing. It's a good premise though.
It's based on a Philip K. Dick book, so the source material is pretty strong. So I think
with a name like Dick, it's got to be.
Yeah, I do like a bit of Dick.
But I mean, I think, judging by the adverts on TV, Amazon's putting a lot of pushing this to, this is its big, look what we've got, we're the only people that have got it, sign up. It must have worked because I've signed up for Amazon Prime now, so.
Well, you got free delivery, that's what you signed up for.
Well, yeah, I didn't go for the, because you got to be careful. Like, I don't know if you remember a few months back, they charged me £70 for a free trial. Remember I told you?
You didn't cancel it
on the pod. Yeah. No, it wasn't that. Their free trial is, you get 14 days free, but we'll take the money first and give you a refund if you change your mind.
That is ridiculous.
But they'll take the year's money, not just a month. They'll take a year.
That's proper jammy.
So just be careful if you are thinking about signing up for Amazon Prime. But yeah, it's pretty good streaming service.
I actually remembered my real highlight of the week.
Go on then, Ross. Go on.
Fargo. It is.
Is that still going on? I thought I'd finished.
No, it is phenomenal.
Is this season 2?
Yes, season 2. It is. If you can get a chance to check out season 2 of Fargo, because you don't need to have watched the first season to watch it. It is brilliant. The character development, the story, you just can't beat it, honestly.
But is it really any better than the film? Is it worth watching if you've seen the film?
I love the film. I think it's different to the film. It's set in a sort of, obviously the same place, but different time zone, different everything. But
is it a different story then? It's just not the same telling of the same story.
Completely different story. Each season's been a different story.
This is almost a prequel. The main character, or the police woman from the first season, is in this season, but as a little girl.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah.
See, I'm only on episode 3 or 4.
Okay.
I'm not sure. So obviously no spoilers, but I hadn't made that connection, to be honest.
I think it's a slow burner in the sense that it does take a long time to get built up to it, but they build the character so well over the first 4 or 5 episodes that when the story really hits hard, and you've got great feeling for them all. And it's what that and the Leftovers season 2 this season has been my sort of TV highlights all year.
I've not watched either. I've watched both first series of both series, but I've just been a bit behind.
Yeah,
I gotta say I never heard of the Leftovers before you mentioned it, but yeah, Fargo film was good. So, and the accents are quite quirky, so I might visit that at some point.
Hey.
There's like, sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, as for my highlight of the week, it's probably Firefly. I actually got around to watching it for the first time. Have either of you boys seen it?
No.
Yeah. So.
Whoa! You've not seen it, Ross?
No.
Oh, you need to get on that.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
I've seen all the episodes now, apart from the last one. And what I didn't realise, like going into it, I thought it was just big sci-fi, but I think there's an argument to be made. It's actually a Western more than a sci-fi film.
I'm pretty sure everyone would agree with you. It is a Western in space.
Yeah, well,
you're really selling this to me.
Space. Yeah, but it's not even in space for like 90% of the time, in all honesty. So the show is a little cheesy at times, but I think that's redeemed by the characters and personalities on the show a bit. I really like Mal, of course, the main show. Who's that played by again? I keep forgetting his name.
Castle, but I've forgotten his name off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't.
Which is really embarrassing.
We're going to lose nerd points for this.
We will.
But yeah, I really like his character. But another character I really like is Jane.
Yeah,
he's like this really. It's like his conflict of personalities. He's nice, but he's evil. He's funny, but he's angry, sort of thing.
He's one of the Baldwins.
Yeah, he's really good in it. He's one of my favourite characters, I think.
What's taking you so long to get around to it? I mean, we're 10 years later?
Because, if I'm honest, Buffy put me off and Joss Whedon. I'm not a fan of Joss Whedon's TV shows. And I was sat there the other day and I had nothing to watch, and I was like, you know what? It's only one series.
Nathan Fillion, that's his name.
That's the name, Nathan Fillion.
Yes.
Yeah, but I sat down, I was like, this is one of those series where I've got time now. I said I'd watch it when I had a bit of spare time, just to see what all the fuss is about. And like I say, it is cheesy. Like, I'm not a big fan of cheesy, but I think the characters and the character development, like, outshines those moments. So I'm really getting into it. And I'm looking forward to watching Serenity, because apparently Chiwetel Ejiofor's, bad guy in that is really, really good.
Yeah, Serenity's great. Serenity's really good. They obviously just got a bigger budget, and he was like, right, well, I'm not getting the rest of the series to tell my story, so I'll just give you one big... It's more than just a big long episode. It's great. It's really good.
Yeah, see, I'm looking forward to that, especially because of that, Chiwetel Ejiofor's performance. He's meant to be a really good bad guy, so yeah, I'm glad I finally got around to watching that.
Oh, now I feel like I need to watch it again.
Yeah, like I said, I've got one more episode to watch, so I'll be on that tonight probably. But anyway, moving on, it's time for the download.
The download.
Here's Captain News with the headlines.
Tom Cruise wants his mummy. Captain America and Iron Man's divorce battle rages on. The poor man's Avengers gets a trailer. Someone's fed Gizmo again. Fox fucks the Fantastic Four. Kevin Bacon suffers from tremors. And the Xbox 360 is still too young to drink. So, first news story of the week. Tom Cruise has been linked with the Mummy reboot.
Yay!
So, rumour has it Tom Cruise is on Universal's list for the Mummy reboot, set for release in 2017. The funny thing about this story is that both Tom Cruise and Universal have denied this, but The Hollywood Reporter and Variety are both arguing that he is actually in line for it. So
what would the studio?
They obviously know better.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. What would they know? So yeah, the Mummy reboot is going to be part of the classic monster cinematic universe, which is a thing.
So is that including
Frankenstein's monster?
No, what was it?
I think it started
what's his name?
with that vampire, that Dracula Untold.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of his name, the actor's name. Luke in it.
Yeah, Luke Smith.
Oh, god damn it.
Smith.
What was it with me and names today?
Yeah, the dude with black hair and long black hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've not seen that film, so I don't know if it's any good.
I actually enjoyed it.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
A lot of people were saying it's not very good, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
He plays Dracula well.
Oh, I'll go back and watch that then. But yeah, so there's... I don't know why they need to force a cinematic universe on these films, though.
Because it's the big thing, isn't it? It's like they've got the Star Wars Cinematic Universe,
which works.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Which works.
Yeah, so obviously, who is this who's doing this? Universal.
Yeah.
They obviously don't own a Cinematic Universe yet, so... Oh, mind you, they've got the Fast and Furious one, haven't they?
Yeah, but you can't just shoehorn one in.
Well, they can.
Well, yeah, they are. So yeah, so... I actually quite liked the Brendan Fraser Mummy, and the sequel was alright as well. It just went downhill from then. So, I'm not.
But who's Tom Cruise meant to be playing the Mummy?
It doesn't say. All it says is that he's
just cast
in line for a major role in the classic Monster Cinematic Universe. So it won't just be this film. If he signs up, which he says he won't.
Yeah, we're not going to listen to Tom Cruise.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah.
I think. It's a shock to actually see him in something like this. I never thought I'd see Tom Cruise in a Mummy film.
Did you ever think you would see Will Smith playing Deadshot?
Very true.
Yeah, I suppose.
Did anyone see that film that Tom Cruise played a vampire?
Interview with a Vampire?
Yeah, with Brad Pitt back in the day.
Yeah.
That was alright, actually. Really camp, though.
Do you think
really
do you think big names draw in like box office numbers anymore?
They must, because otherwise there'd be no point in having them.
I'd say to a degree.
I think it lends some credibility though, doesn't it? I think it lends more credibility than it does actually bring in numbers.
Yeah, I think it would depend on the film though. I think if you've got a film that you know people are going to go and watch, like the new Star Wars, they could have cast loads of unknowns, everyone's going to watch it, wouldn't matter. But if you're taking a risk...
Well, they did pretty much.
Exactly, but if you're going to take a risk on something you're not sure people are going to go and see, you know... putting in a well-known actor, though it hasn't worked for that new, I don't know if you've heard this, the new Morgan Freeman film opened in the UK today. No, last weekend even, didn't open today. Last weekend. Can't remember what it was called, but it opened, and in the first 2-3 days it made £60. Total.
What?
I didn't even know a Morgan film was coming out, to be honest.
Exactly, I've not seen any advertisement for it.
Wow.
And to be fair, all you need to do is get him to do the TV advert and you're sorted, as in the voiceover.
But yeah, to take £60 across the country is just shameful.
Doesn't even pay the lecky bill.
Exactly. So, moving on. Fantastic Four 2 has quietly been removed from Fox's release schedule. So it looks like the sequel to this year's Fantastic Four won't be coming in June 2017. If it's coming at all, who knows, but it's probably for the best if it just died. Died in a well, like a puppy.
Yeah, they've tried to be all sneaky about it, haven't they?
Well, they've not released any statement about it, but why would you?
It's very true. I think they're just... I mean, wasn't it not long after the film came out, didn't the director come out and say, oh, we're definitely doing a number 2? Actually, I don't think it was the director because he got kicked off.
I can't remember.
Straight after. But someone, I think it was a producer or something, came on to say that that they were going to carry on. The numbers didn't bother. They're going to carry on with this Fantastic Four universe. And then when like no one's watching, there's other films in the cinema, like, oh, we'll just quietly remove that. But who knows? They might have just delayed it. But
they're not going to make a big announcement because the DVD and the Blu-ray is out next month. So, you know, it would just draw attention to the fact that it was a bad film, wouldn't it? If they said, oh, we're not going to make the sequel now.
Yeah, very true.
So,
it's a smart thing to do.
Most of the actors that were in it have come out and said it was a shit film, so... I mean, one of them, I can't remember what his name is, because they were all unknowns pretty much, weren't they? So it was a learning
Jordan
experience.
Was in that, weren't he?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't think they were unknowns, because it had Michael B. Jordan, it had Miles Teller, which is an up-and-comer. Had quite a few names in it. It's just was a shitty film because Fox meddled in the direction of it. Took it away from Josh Trank apparently. So
yeah. Well, I'm not fussed about it. Not getting the sequel. I haven't even seen the first one, so
yeah, don't bother.
But
don't bother.
While we're still on the subject of sequels, Gremlins 3 won't be a remake or a reboot. Gremlins 3 is gonna be Gremlins 3. So that's good.
That's good news. I'm glad because let's be honest, they're never going to make a film as good as those first two were. When did they come out? Were they both 80s movies, or was one 80s, one 90s?
I think it was on the cusp on it. I can't remember. I think the first Gremlins was 89.
Yeah.
I really want to see Will Ferrell in this.
Oh, that's genius casting.
That would be great.
That would be pretty
Like,
awesome.
I could just, his reactions to the Gremlins, I just think would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
So this comes from original Gremlin star Zach Galligan, who was, what was his name in it? Billy. And he said,
yeah.
he was being interviewed about something else he's doing. I think he's like on stage somewhere in London, and he said, it's not going to be a reboot. It will not be a remake in any way, shape or form. He said Chris Columbus has come out and said that the first film is very near and dear to his heart, and as long as he is alive, it will never be remade. So they plan to do something along the lines of Jurassic World, where it will be 30 years later. So
That's a
it
really
worked.
cool idea. I want to Mowgli's. Is like, no, what did I say? Mowgli. And he's from the Jungle Book.
Mogwai.
Mogwai, that's the one. Not the kid from the Jungle Book, the actual fairy.
No, because if he came home at Christmas with the kid from the Jungle Book in a box, and went, yeah, Billy, I've brought you a present, it would have been a completely different film.
Yeah.
Right, just a bit off topic, but can you do the Mogwai sound like the song?
Something like that, innit?
Yeah, I think that was pretty good actually. Well done, Dave.
Well, bang on, what are you on about? No, it's not
I sound
being
like I'm
strangled,
choking on
Kev.
Yeah, Kev's gargled before.
So, Gremlins 3, is that welcome or not?
Yes, definitely. I love the Gremlins film. Number 2 is awesome with Rambo Gizmo. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Number 2 is probably my favourite out of both of them.
I don't think it was as good as the first one, but I did like
It's like
all the...
Raid, but with Gremlins.
Yeah, that's a really good. That's a really good comparison.
It's a very much an airplane feel for me. You know, that way like, there's jokes going on in the background as you're watching it, and
True.
I think every time you watch that movie, you see more. I love Gremlins too.
One of my favourite,
it's right up there. Yeah.
One of my favourite scenes from Gremlins 2 is obviously when the first film came out. Well, I mean, we were all in nappies, and if born at all.
This was last week, by the way.
I know Ross was just finishing up in university. Yeah, everyone was taking a mic, you know, like, so the rules about the Gremlins are... Kevin, can you remember what the rules about the Gremlins are?
Do not feed them after midnight.
Yeah.
Do not get them wet.
Sounds like one of your girlfriends, isn't it? Yeah, close enough. Well, so the midnight, feeding them after midnight, when everyone used to take the piss, oh yeah, but why after midnight, you know? And then in the second film, they're taking, you know, they're self-referential that. They're like, you know, what if he's got a bit of pomegranate stuck in his teeth and it falls out and swallows it at midnight? Does that count and all that? And then one bursts through the console and eats him. So, yeah, I'm down for Gremlins 3. I think it would be.
You've just brought a really serious question to the table.
Yeah.
If he does get food stuck in his teeth,
yeah,
does that count?
I think we should just devote an entire podcast episode to the Gremlins universe and how it would work.
How much food do they have to consume for them to spit balls out their back?
Yeah. No, feeding them puts them in their cocoon, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You get them wet and they start bloody scabbing over.
That's it. That's the one. But yeah, I totally really want a Gremlins 3. That'd be cool. And I'm glad they're not remaking it, because the original 2 are fantastic. They don't need changing, and it would be cool to see a new story with them.
Definitely.
Especially set in a modern world. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Remakes are bad. Speaking of remakes, Kevin Bacon is to lead a TV reboot of Tremors. Tremors?
A TV reboot.
A TV reboot.
And he's in it.
Yeah. But
I
it
could
would
get
not
down
be...
with that.
Yeah. I don't know why you would have one of the original characters in a reboot. You'd either have him in a sequel or start with new cast. It's a bit weird. Sending a bit of a mixed message.
But is it a reboot or is it like some sort of spin-off?
No, apparently it's a reboot.
Oh, okay.
4 months since we heard that Tremors was getting some sort of reboot, we can now confirm that the subterranean monster-themed sci-fi franchise is making the leap to TV.
Oh, I get mixed up. I thought it was Critters.
No, Critters was the little black furry monsters from space.
Yeah, I was like, that's a bit similar to Gremlins.
Yeah, it was, yeah. bit darker, though.
Yeah.
No, Tremors was the groundworms. I know you've had a lot of experience with having worms, but this is worms on a bigger scale.
These are very big worms.
I don't... Ah.
You know how itchy you was with the other worms? Imagine
Yeah, I'd
worms.
take a powdered drink.
Oh my god.
Went away after a few days.
I mean, I could watch that. Is the premise enough to stretch into a TV series? I don't
That's
know.
what I
We'll
was
have to
just
wait and
thinking.
see.
Is there enough story there? There's big ground ones.
Is there a story there, really?
Who's writing it?
Andrew Miller, who wrote...
The Secret Circle and Imaginary Bitches.
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
Brilliant screenwriter. That'll be fine then.
Google's awesome.
That would be the quickest Google ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I say, I don't know if there's a big enough story there. If they did it like maybe there's a little town and it's like the stories between the people trying to deal with these, maybe that lasts for 1 or 2 seasons, but I can't see anything beyond that.
Having said that, when they said, Dust to Dawn's getting a TV series, I thought there's not enough story there to make a series, and now there's 2.
Have you watched it? Is it any good? Just because it's there doesn't mean if it's any good.
I watched series 1, it's pretty good, yeah.
That's probably the good one. And then
I haven't watched season 2, to be fair. I didn't even know it was until like 2 days ago. So they didn't advertise that. Maybe for good reason.
Yeah, I'll be on board with it for a season. I'd like to see what they did with it, but it's just if they had enough story, which I doubt they would.
Anyway.
Sticking
with TV.
Mm-hmm.
Legends of Tomorrow has got a trailer and a release date. We haven't got Scott on, otherwise he would be
ejaculating over the mic
bouncing
right
off
now.
the fucking ceiling. You know.
What was his exact comment?
Something along the lines Civil War, which we'll get into later, was shit, the trailer, and this one was fucking amazing. Something along those lines. I might be paraphrasing a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm pretty sure he said he exploded. He said I had a little sex wee.
So you put it better than me.
So yeah, so I watched the trailer. I'm not a fan of Flash or Arrow, not because I don't like them, just because I've not really watched them.
I've not seen Arrow, but I'm watching Flash currently, and Flash is a pretty good show. It's one of those ones that's a bit tongue-in-cheek and cheesy, but I can just about deal with it. It's on that level where, like I said with Firefly, the character development is enough to like justify the cheesiness in some parts. So yeah.
Are you interested in this? Is this something you're going to watch?
It looks too over the top for me.
Yeah.
I don't fancy it. It does look so cheesy.
So just to people who don't know, it's set in 2166, and Vandal Savage, who's an immortal villain, he would be a villain with the name Randall Savage, and he's not going to be the fucking post office master, is he? So immortal DC villain Randall Savage rules the world. Time traveller Rip Hunter puts together a team of superheroes and traverses space-time in order to prevent Savage from seizing total control. I've got to be honest. There's a bit in the trailer where he says, I had to put a team together and I thought of you guys. And I'm thinking, really? Or did you have a list of people and they all said no and you're settling for these guys? Because they all look like the B-list, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
This looks like the PlayStation podcast or the Outer Lives podcast.
Oh, you're saying with the cinematic universe, the TV universe.
With the Batman, with the Justice League, and they're the Legends of Tomorrow.
I like that reference. Okay, I see where you're going. But yeah, like I say, I watched the trailer and I was like, yeah, the premise is pretty cool, but you can tell this is going to be over the top, ridiculous. It's just going to be so much cheese. I don't know if I'll be able to stand it. There's this many characters.
I was just trying to work out like which one out of all the characters was going to be having issues dealing with their power.
All of them by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Arthur Darvill from Doctor Who, he's going to suffer from the same problem as David Tennant did in Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
In that he's just that Doctor Who character, and I'm not going to see him in any other light. So having him as this time traveling, badass, nah, not buying it.
I don't know. I know why Scott loves this sort of thing, because he's even said himself he loves like Joss Whedon stuff that's pretty cheesy. He even said he wasn't a fan of Civil War because it looked too dark, and I know he loves the light-hearted cheesy stuff.
Well, let's get on to that, because the next on the list is the Captain America Civil War trailer.
And how on earth, how did this not blow his mind? This is one of my favourite trailers of the year.
When he said, I watched it, I didn't think much of it. I wanted to reach down Facebook Messenger and slap him.
I did. I was shocked, like really shocked. The final 30 seconds of this trailer is epic in the true sense of the word. With first you see Tony Stark come down the hallway and there's Captain America and he says something along the lines of, I couldn't do it, he was my friend. And then Iron Man goes, well, so was I. And I was like, oh, right in the heartstrings.
I know.
And then that moment where you see him and Bucky throwing the shield and then beating the crap into Captain America, I just thought that was like epic.
Yeah, I'm proper hyped for this film.
Have you read Civil War?
I have.
No,
Two
I've
years?
not. No.
It's very different.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be completely different, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Civil War in the comics really was like a war. There was literally every character you can think of, and obviously because of rights issues, they can't do that with a movie. So it's not really Civil
It'd be
War.
too much. You really
Civil
don't want that
Tiff.
many characters, though, do you? You can't do that because then you've got no character development time for anyone. If you've got a film full of different characters, you have to give screen time to all
No, I
of them.
agree. It wouldn't work.
So I'm glad the way they're doing this is they're basing it around Bucky and his problems, and like him being Cap's friend. It makes it a Captain America film because it will focus on their relationship and him trying to defend his best friend because he had no control over what he did.
He should still be in jail.
Yeah, but he wasn't in control. Why should he be in jail? Why isn't Jessica Jones in jail? 'Cause she and she was under someone's control.
Yeah, it's a very slippery line. I like the fact that it looks like a sequel to Winter Soldier rather than an Avengers film. I had the feeling it was going to be Avengers 2.5, and
yeah,
I didn't get that from the trailer.
Yeah, I thought it would be too light-hearted as well for the storyline, which meant to be this big battle between things, and I'm glad they went. The Russo brothers are really good at that, having really good tension in their films.
Yeah.
Like you said, we saw that in Captain America 2, and I think they're going to do it again. They're going to nail this film.
Winter Soldier's the best Marvel film, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
I would actually agree with that. Yeah, I would actually agree with that as well.
You know, as much I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but that didn't really feel like. I know it is, but it didn't feel like the same universe because it was so departed. But of all the,
I know what you're saying. I think that was their idea with that because they wanted to keep that separate from the actual Marvel universe, even though it's sort of based in the same universe.
Well,
sort
I
of
know
thing.
they will all come together in the end, but at the minute, you know, it's so far removed from the ones that we have seen. But yeah, Winter Soldier is definitely, it's got everything. It had a brilliant script, interesting characters. It was, you know,
It's for adults. It was for kids.
It felt like it was much
multi-layered.
more. Yeah. There was more going on behind the scenes, whereas Avengers was just one big, you know, Age of Ultron was just one big action film, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm one of the biggest fan of Age of Ultron. But
No,
as
see, I
Civil
liked
War,
it.
yeah, it wasn't a bad film. It's just I think they missold what it was, which is another worry I'm worried about with Civil War, is they're selling it as quite dark and brooding, yet right, when they sold Age of Ultron, they sold Ultron to me in the trailers. I saw him as this really dark, foreboding character, but then in the film he's just cracking jokes and stuff, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, but I
That
loved
was a
the
bit of a
character in
letdown.
the film. I thought the film was great.
Yeah,
His
I mean, it's
character.
about personal taste, isn't it?
But yeah, I know what you mean. Will they deliver? I hope so, because it looks great. And that was only touted as a teaser trailer, so.
Will you be watching it, Ross?
Yeah, I personally have been more excited for this trailer than I am the rest of the Marvel movies. Even Ultron, I just thought, like, this looks like my bag. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. And as a huge fan of the Civil War books, I'm even more looking forward to it, yeah.
So, that wraps up the movie news. No game news this week, really.
No.
Except for the Xbox 360 has turned 10.
Hey. But yeah, I remember getting one for Christmas, and I was blown away, because I think we got FIFA. I think it might have been a FIFA World Cup game that we got, and the graphics on it just blew me away, because it's the first time I'd played HD, and it was incredible. When did you first get yours?
Oh, it's been near launch about 8 months after.
Oh, okay. What games did you get with yours?
So, I cannot remember this. I really can't. Someone asked me this before, and at the time, right, bear in mind, this is 10 years ago, I was 21, working for bars and nightclubs in Glasgow, and I really was not a gamer at that point. I sort of turned it off. I got one because I was always deep down as a youngster as a gamer, and I knew I'd return to it, but I wasn't buying much for it because I was too interested in going out.
See, I'm different. I didn't get mine until 2010.
Oh, okay, quite late on then.
Yeah, because I lived in Spain for most of my teenage life, and I didn't play games at all. Literally, I had a GameCube, and then that was it. I didn't even play that. I never had a PlayStation 2 or anything like that. So I got an Xbox 360, and I got Dead Rising, Fallout 3, and what else did I get? Guitar Hero. Can't remember which one. Guitar Hero 2, I think.
Guitar Hero was amazing.
Yeah.
I remember the night before that came out, I couldn't sleep. I was so excited to get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had dreams about pressing buttons.
Never really heard of it. I just saw it in the shop and I thought, oh, that looks quite good, and I picked it up, and yeah, it was really cheap, so that's why I grabbed it.
Oh, another game I got when it first came out was Call of Duty 2, which was the game that introduced me to the whole Call of Duty franchise, and I used to play that multiplayer all the time with my friends. Oh god, I love that game. That was my introduction, even though I go back to it now and you can't sprint in it or nothing, which seems really shitty, but at the time it was like amazing. Couldn't get enough of it.
Dead Rising was a good game. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, that was
great.
That was another one of those games like Gears of War as well, where the graphics sort of blew you away when you was playing it.
Yeah, it looks shit now when you play it though.
I actually can't believe when you look at some of the sort of like original release Xbox 360 games, they got a lot out of that console.
Well, you think about GTA 5
that
came out. I remember when I put that in on my 360 when I first got it and played the campaign, I parked my vehicle up on this mountain and had the sunset going down in the background. I was like, holy shit, how did they manage to get this out of a 10-year-old console? Or an 8-year-old console at the time?
$500 million, that's how.
They made that back in like 10 minutes, didn't they?
Yeah, before it was even
released. Like Witcher 2 as well. There was some parts of Witcher 2 I thought, this doesn't even look like the same console I was playing bloody the shit on last week. This looks like, well, I don't need to go upgrade into the Xbox One. I'll just keep this. And then obviously I played Witcher 3 and it shat all over Witcher 2, but...
Just goes to show you, I mean, I think a lot of it is to do with the software side, isn't it? And people learning to, like, use the hardware on the systems to get the best out of it. I think that's what's going to happen with the Xbox One and that as well. I know a lot of people are complaining that a lot of games are 900p instead of 1080p on Xbox, but I think over time they'll find, you know, the right way of doing it, and it'll eventually be that 1080p 60 frames per second system, which it should have been.
Well, see, the thing is, they're putting a lot of faith in this power of the cloud thing.
Yeah, right? I see it though.
And that's not, I don't think they can do too much with that, because people still have data caps across the world, and you can't put the reliance on servers doing your processing power when people still don't have unlimited data for their broadband. Yeah,
that probably was their master plan, but I think they've come to the real world and realised that's not a thing you can do nowadays. Even
maybe
now
in 5 years, but not now.
Unless they release their own broadband network.
But have you seen the stuff they're doing with Crackdown 3?
Yes.
With all the destruction and that on the cloud servers. Now that looks interesting to me.
What if you've got dial-up? That's going to be an interesting building collapse then.
You think you're playing sort of Matrix or something. But yeah, so how long do we think Xbox One's going to last for?
Oh,
another 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah, but I'll give it 4 years, 5 years, like Ross says, because it's not going to last 10, no way.
I don't.
6 or 7 in total.
Yeah, you can't really count the last 2 years as being an Xbox 360 year.
Didn't the original Xbox only lasted 4 years or something stupid, or 5 years?
Yeah, but didn't that release a lot later than PlayStation 2? I'm not 100% on that.
It did. Yeah, it did, but still. Mind you, the GameCube, isn't the GameCube the shortest running game console ever before another console was released?
I'm not sure. I think the Wii U's doing a good job on that if the NX comes out next year.
Very true.
Anyway.
Yep, so I think this is going to be the last game changer for a while.
Mainly because no one's interested.
Things. Yeah, because none of you cunts ever send us fuck all.
Way to endear the audience.
Yeah, that is called our listeners cunts. Basically, this is Meta, and this is his game changer.
My game changer this week takes a slightly different look at a game that isn't necessarily my favourite, but probably one I want to go back and play over and over again. Valiant Hearts is a game which I happened to stumble upon through the PlayStation Network, and it opened my eyes to a whole different side of modern day gaming, especially that in the indie world. Up to this point, my only soirees in gaming had been with AAA games and major annual titles which were given the big budgets and the huge marketing pushes. Now, although Valiant Hearts is a Ubisoft developed game, it doesn't have that big money feel, which makes it all the more appealing. On its premise, it's a game focused on World War I, where you're put in control of 4 characters, with a Frenchman called Emile, his German son-in-law Karl, an American soldier called Freddy, and a Belgian nurse called Anna. No stereotypical names there. The puzzle adventure gameplay encompassed with impactful storyline had me gripped, and personally invested in the progress of both the characters and the narrative. I was asked to use my wits to solve puzzles to acquire particular items needed to progress through the story. In other segments, I had to avoid guards in stealth-like missions to rhythmic car chases to classical songs from the time. Accompanied by a dog called Walt, who just seemed to be everywhere, it really does blend together a variety of short gameplay sequences into what was a really enjoyable 7 to 8 hour campaign. On the face of it, The art style used within the game was something that I would have not been interested in, but it manages to squeeze out the emotions from the 2D tale, and for a while I kind of forgot that's what it was. The deep watercolours used to dictate the mood of the landscape, alongside the sharp and emboldened edges of the characters, really helped to ooze a sense of despair and anxiety from the screen, and seemed to stir my emotions. The voiceover and commentary of the game use language that I think develops into a kind of heartfelt symphony alongside the crashing and banging of the sound effects, as I hung on every word. For me, the major draw of Valiant Hearts is that it's different. Although it's a war-based game, it's rooted in the impact around the war rather than the direct firing guns and dropping of bombs, a refreshing outlook despite the emotional storyline. It took me by surprise whilst challenging me as well as making me feel personally invested in the characters, and I was desperate to see how the story ended. For me, personally, it opened the door for the indie game scene, and it's definitely one that everybody should check out.
Well, thanks, Meta.
That was amazing.
That was actually really good.
I enjoyed
doing
that.
A final game changer.
I think it's a fitting way to go out on that game.
Yes.
What do you think of the game, Ross?
Snoopy's Castle Crashers.
Yeah.
I think Snoopy's a really undeveloped character in the video game world. I think they can do some good stuff with him.
I really hope when the Peanuts movie arrives, they really, go into the origins of Snoopy as a character.
There's a Snoopy game out just now.
Yeah, I know, it's £60 and it looks like fucking Super Mario 1. It's an actual joke. It's an arcade game. If you look, I can't remember where I heard it, but if you look at the file size of the Snoopy game on Xbox, that's a £60 game. The file size is less than 300 MB.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
No.
And that's a £60
But I could be
game.
wrong. It might have been less than 3 gig, but still.
Do we have any feedback?
We do? You have feedback, Ross, don't you?
Oh, yep. So we do have some feedback this week as well. It's from Reese, aka the Fanny.
Hey,
And
my favourite Fanny.
It's all right, guys. Question hyphen. Has there ever been a richer time in gaming history as we're in right now?
Answer hyphen no. No, I think now is really, 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 really good. I'm so skint.
Yeah, it's true. It's not good for your wallet. But
No, this last 2-3 months has been pretty impressive. I can't think of another time.
And to be fair, you're not that skint. How many dominoes you had this week?
Just the one?
And it was this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What time?
About 11:30.
That's not Domino's time.
Well, it is.
it is if you like cold pizza in the morning for breakfast.
Even though it was warm, it was
But it's
from
not
the
cold,
shop.
it's warm.
Oh, you went out and brought it at that early?
No, I got
morning?
it delivered. Listen.
Pizza bloke goes, you shouldn't be eating pizza at this time, mate.
He was a bit like judgmental. But I must say, they put a hell of a lot more toppings on. I reckon it was more toppings than if I'd ordered it 4 or 5 hours later.
It's because it's last night stuff
Yeah,
that we're using up.
probably. No, right. You got an 11-week-old baby and you're a bit hungover. Ain't no cooking happening on a Sunday.
Oh, I forgot you were hungover.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't
fair
I
enough.
wasn't hungover really, but she was, although she claimed she wasn't.
Wait a minute, did you sleep last night, Dave? Is that why it seems like an alright breakfast?
I didn't sleep much. I think I went to bed about 3-4, and I was up quite early.
That's probably why. You're still like running from the same day.
Yeah,
Days
I
are
was-
starting to merge for you.
I did hours on Fallout, and I've come 2 major story quests have glitched out on me, and I can't progress no more. So I think my time with that game is over.
But yeah, on to the question. Yeah, I'd say so. We've got more games coming out than we've ever had in the past. I mean, they're at a good price. I mean, people would say that the golden age of gaming was when the Nintendo and Super Nintendo and stuff was around, but games back then cost like £100 or something ridiculous, didn't they? Or 80
No, I
quid.
think games have stayed about the same price.
With inflation.
Yeah, I suppose. But we're certainly getting a lot more games now, and I think games are starting to become in better vessels for stories, and some people might argue that makes them less of a game, because more people enjoy the old style platforming stuff, but in my personal opinion, yeah, I'd say we're in the best time for it, and I think it's only going to get better as the years go on.
I think that the console gamers are in a richer time than what they've ever been, and I think it's pretty much the same for PC. I just think that consoles catching up in PC with the amount of releases that you can get on a yearly basis and the amount of high quality releases that we're now getting across all platforms is fantastic. So.
What was the last game released on PlayStation, by the way?
PlayStation what, 4?
Yeah.
God knows. We're all Xbox players. It's really bad.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is it good at the moment for PlayStation players?
I don't think it's massively different. They've had Black Ops 3 and they've had Battlefront and everything just like we have. So
I suppose the third. It's
they've
only
had
the first.
Fallout 4. It's only Tomb Raider they've not had.
Mind you, I think they just had the
Halo.
Uncharted collection as well, didn't they?
Yeah, so I don't think they're doing too bad. I think what the difference is now, though, is that the consoles are now 2 years into their life cycle. Developers are bringing out the games they've been working on since it come out. That's why it seems like we're getting these high-quality games. It's because in the first year or two, we just got games that were safe games almost, where they'd made them for what they thought the system was going to be. Now they know what the system is and they've got a bit more experience they can make. And it'll only get
now
better.
they've started to realise and they've stopped making games for last generation. It seems like this has been the year where they've said, right, this is our mark in the sand. No more games for last generation. Let's concentrate on using the hardware on this generation.
Yeah, you say that, but 360 got Black Ops. Oh, I didn't get the campaign. But
Oh,
got Black Ops.
did you see it? Did you see the multiplayer?
But
I wouldn't say they got the game. I think someone just sellotaped some sort of fucking...
They just got Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider 360 though, that looks pretty impressive considering.
That's very true. Yeah, I have heard good things about that. But being an Xbox exclusive, I guess they had to make sure it was good on 360 as well, because they weren't going to get the sales from other platforms.
I hope the sales on that have picked up. I've actually started playing now. It's a really good game.
We've got any more feedback? No. Is that it?
But if they wanted feedback, where would they write into, Russ?
They would send it to podcast@outoflives.net, or if you write it in a bit of paper, attach it via a bit of string to a balloon with helium in it, it will eventually get to Kev's front door.
It will.
Or, alternatively, you can engrave your message to a carrier pigeon and let that fly here as well.
Engrave the carrier pigeon?
Yeah,
I
just
think
to
that's
make
a bit
sure.
cruel. I think the RSPCA might have something to say about that.
No, because if you stick a bit of paper on a carrier pigeon's leg and that bit of paper falls off, we're not going to get the message. We're just going to get a very confused looking pigeon.
Well, why don't you just pull its leg off and stick the bit of paper in the socket where it was? That might be a bit super glue.
Taking it a bit too far.
Now we're going to do something like we did last week. We've got a little interview with David Arquette, community manager at Double 11. Enjoy.
Hi there, and we're now joined by Darren Arquette, who is the community manager and QA tester at Double 11, and he's going to be talking some Goat Simulator. So, how you doing, Darren?
Hi, yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
It's been a long time coming. I've been trying to sort this for months, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
And I'm joined by Scott Sedman.
Hello, everyone.
Making her Out of Life's podcast debut, it's Sophia Harris. How you doing?
Hello, I'm very good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Well, I think we're going to have to move on with some GOAT questions anyway, since that's why we are all here. So I'll get things started, and I'll ask you, Darren, about Goat Simulator. Where did the idea for Goat Sim come from?
Well, that's a bit more of a question for Coffee Stain, the guys that originally created Goat Simulator on Steam. But from what they've told me after speaking to them a little bit, they kind of just did it as an April Fool's joke at first. But then people were like, why don't you just make it a real game? Because it looks funny. And they kind of just ran with it, and then they decided to bring it out as a full game.
So it was originally going to be just a demo, or just like a tech demo, or a bit of fun, and it actually ended up getting a full release?
Yeah, it was just meant to be a little bit of fun, just sort of messing around. And then people got really interested in it, and so they just kind of went with it, just thinking like, oh, well, it'll be a fun little game for people to play. And people loved it.
I mean, the most important question is, why a goat?
Well, why not? Because all animals are technically goats. You know, like a giraffe, it's just a tall goat.
That is true.
That is true, yeah.
I think, well, as you said, like, the thing about a goat, I think what appealed to people is the fact that it's kind of random, but at the same time, it's like, we haven't really seen it before, and like, I spend a lot of time on YouTube, like way too much time. And obviously in 2014 Goat Simulator was like one of the big hits of gameplay. It still is like one of the things that a lot of game players play. Why do you think it's the fact that it's a goat, like it's so random, or like what do you think was the thing that made it become such a gameplay success?
Oh, that's a good one. I do think the popularity of God Simulator is down to the pure like sort of lol random of it. Just because the concept in itself is just weird. I've been asked a number of times when we took the Xbox and PlayStation versions out on shows like Gamescom and EGX down in London, and they've just been asking like, what's the point of it? What do you do? And it's just like, you're just a goat, you run around, you have fun, and then you see it once people pick up a controller and start playing it, they just start falling on the floor of laughter. Like, no matter how old they are, like young, old, or middle-aged.
I hope that wasn't directed to me.
I think it was, Ross.
So I think you're right, it's a game for all ages, isn't it? And maybe that is the appeal on YouTube and other video websites, that people just want to see the reason why, and all the little funny bits seem to stand out for them.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, it's just, I don't know, there's something about it that just appeals to all ages, and it just makes everyone laugh. Just running around and headbutting stuff.
And then you like make some stuff explode and you get a Michael Bay achievement. It's my favorite. It was just like, that was like one of the moments when I started playing it. I jumped into it and I got a Michael Bay achievement. I was like, this is brilliant. This is awesome.
Is that your goals in life, to get a Michael Bay achievement? Is it just fulfilled, ticked every box right now?
Mhm.
Is that all I get? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to do anything else now in life. I'm done. That was the best moment of my life. Well, like, that's the thing. There's a lot of really cool achievements and stuff. Did you have like a favorite type of achievement or quest in the game?
Yeah, with the original God Simulator, I am a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, so being able to go down to the sewers and like have a little fight with them was pretty funny.
Did they actually get a goat in the studio and murkap it? That's yeah.
I don't believe so. I think it's all just their own animation stuff, which is pretty good, because sometimes it does act like a real goat, just the way it moves. I think just because we had one in the studio, because we were doing some stuff for the early trailers with the green screens with a live action goat, and that was pretty fun.
I just want to imagine a green screen.
Yeah.
Green screen. I can't say that now because I'm actually like laughing and smiling so much. A green screen with a goat in front of it.
Yeah.
A live goat. How does it not eat the green screen? How are you not worried about that?
I think we had plenty of hair to control its hunger. But it was a nicely trained one. I believe it was called Princess.
A trained goat.
Yeah.
Oh, Princess.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You are living the dream.
I think she is now, because I think she's got like a little plaque saying like she's the star of some trailers on Xbox or something.
How do you feel as community manager that the fans' response to the game has been?
Quite overwhelming in a sense, just because I've only been on this position for just over a year now.
Yeah.
And I saw some response for our earlier games, and we got really positive response and nice response. But like Pixel Junk series is a bit niche, so but like the fans there are really diehard, so they're always brilliant to like talk to. But when we announced that God Simulator was coming to Xbox, we had a lot more fans interested in us as a studio and in our titles, and that was just brilliant to see. Just loads of fans' response to God coming out on Xbox.
That's awesome. I mean, is there any plans for maybe a duck simulator? Since our fans are called duck hunters, I think we'd all be interested in that.
I don't think specifically a duck simulator, but it wouldn't surprise me if we were to see some kind of duck make an appearance in Goat.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, Lincoln, I'm studying at University of Lincoln right now, and we're synonymous with swans, so a swan expansion would be perfectly acceptable as well.
Right, guys, at this point, this is slightly off topic, but I once got a message from Scott saying, "Did you know there are swans in Lincoln?" Now, I'm not quite sure, as Scott coming from Hull, if there's no swans in the whole of Hull, or maybe if they eat them. I'm not quite sure.
We don't eat swans. We don't eat swans.
You don't eat swans, right? But yeah, I'm pretty much sure there's swans all over the country, not just in Lincoln.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them in Lincoln. Okay, we'll just get on with our Queen of Indies reckons she could knock out a giraffe with one punch. What's the biggest animal do you think you could knock out in one punch? It's hypothetical. Obviously, we don't support animal abuse on the show, but I'm just curious.
I've got this movie clip in my head, and I'm known for doing a pretty good impression of this guy in The Office, and in a certain film of his, he punches a camel.
Nice. And did he get it knocked out, though? That's an important question.
I believe so, yeah. It's Conan the Barbarian, by the way.
Ah.
Yeah, I think I do a pretty good Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, so I think I'll be able to channel my inner Arnie and knock out a camel, like he did in that film.
We all need to channel it in our Arnie a bit more, I think, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
right.
you sort of just like get your teeth together and just...
Camels be scared.
Now, mermaids are quite different in the game. Is there any reason behind that?
I said the traditional fishtail human body.
Yeah, it freaked me out.
Yeah, I think it was just to play with Coffee Stain's sense of humour again. It's just like, we're delivering a summit that people are expecting. What's the update called? MMO update.
Yeah.
People are expecting it to go a certain way, go like the fantasy sort of way. So with them, I think they just kind of want to turn everyone's expectations on the head. That's the reason why like the MMO update really isn't an MMO update. It's just a simulated update.
Yeah.
And the mermaids are not the traditional mermaid, the fish heads instead.
So I want to go back to talking about YouTube, because YouTube is my life. And obviously there were so many different videos from like Markiplier and PewDiePie and Smosh and all these big YouTubers. Do you feel like the fact that it became such a success, what kind of impact did it have? Did it change anything compared to what it was before all the big YouTubers went into it?
Yeah, I think a lot of YouTubers do help a lot of games get a lot more exposure, especially like PewDiePie, who has, oh god, how many does he have? Like 40 million views?
Yeah, over 40 million subscribers.
Subscribers, that's the one.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we saw it firsthand ourselves. Like, we do get a few smaller sort of YouTubers play our game, and they get a nice bump every now and again. But like when we released Goat Simulator on Xbox, we had Rooster Teeth play it, and we suddenly saw like a massive bump and a lot more interest in our title.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite YouTube video, or is the Rooster Teeth the best one? That's a really good one. I've seen like a bunch of them. They're all great.
Yeah, they did do quite a few on our Xbox version. And I'd probably say it was one of the Rooster Teeth ones, just because they start off by singing the song, just like yelling "God Simulator," but doing it like a chant, like they build themselves up for it, sort of thing. I just thought that was really funny for some reason.
Rooster Teeth guys are brilliant. Now, do you actually think that you could complete the Total Wipeout course since it's in the updated game?
Oh, you mean the real life one?
The real life one, yeah. I'm not going to say it in the game. To be fair, though, it could be double-edged, that question, because I can't finish it in the game either.
I was going to say in the game, I have a few times, because as you guys know, I'm a QA tester, so I have to test that course out a little bit, and a few times we did just get knocked off it and just went, oh, stuff this, we'll do this later on. But we had to end up completing it a few times. But yeah, the real Wipeout course, I haven't seen it recently. Like I think I saw it on the first series.
I think it's been cancelled. It's probably just the original one, yeah.
Oh, wow. But yeah, the original series one, I think I'll be able to do.
But I don't think I could get across those balls.
Yeah, the balls are probably the hardest one. Like, I'll definitely go in the water a few times, but I think I'll be able to do it in the respectable time.
Fair enough. That sounds like a challenge. My son once referred to a giraffe in a zoo as a tall goat because he believes that's what its name is. What other stories have you heard about real life situations that are goat sim inspired?
Funnily enough, that's like at least like the fourth or fifth time I've heard someone say that.
What about the giraffe?
Yeah.
So this isn't just him? Goodness. I can cancel that psychology. What? It's time to go to language courses and things.
Oh, he's Scottish.
Oh. So is it mainly the giraffes are confused for tall goats, or have you heard anything else?
Yeah, it's mostly the giraffes I've heard. Yeah, I don't think I've heard anyone else refer to any of the other animals like the whale or the ostrich.
I forgot about the whale. Yeah.
Surely a sheep would be a fluffy goat.
I don't think there is really any sheep in the game. Well, besides being enemies in the MMO game. But no, like, I don't think I've seen anyone refer to the ostrich as feathery goat or the whale as giant goat. Just the giraffe, unfortunately.
I suppose it's a common thing as you don't see a giraffe every day, but when you're at a zoo and they recognise it makes sense. But I was mortified, to be honest. Scott asked the all-important question here.
Yeah, like you've had the zombies with Goatsy, and you had the more goats with the MMO. Where's Goat Simulator going next? I mean, surely a first-person Goater would be a good place. Like, no.
Did you just come up with that right there and then?
Yeah, I did actually.
Well done. Kudos.
Thank you.
Well, due to what Goat Simulator really is, you could do pretty much anything to it. I'll take it to different locations. We aren't officially announcing any DLC anytime soon, but as everyone probably already knows, like Coffee Stain are doing more stuff for their version of Goat Simulator. So hopefully we'll be able to do that in the future if the demand is there. But at the moment, nothing is in concrete. Yeah, nothing's in concrete.
Well, or maybe a Goat RTS would be pretty cool as well.
A Goat RTS sounds good.
No, I want that in my life.
Sophia, you've got an unlimited budget and approval to do so. Where do you take the goat?
Oh no! Oh.
Hopefully not from behind.
I would take the goat into the ocean, and we'd be on a boat, and a shark would come, and the goat would he would say like, "We're gonna need a bigger goat." Get it? You're welcome. I'm here all day, folks.
And this is Sophia's first and last Out of Lives podcast. Now, a really important question. This is not about Goat Simulator, but about yourself. Do you keep your ketchup in the fridge or the cupboard?
Cupboard.
In the cupboard. Good man.
Thank you. He's sensible.
Because it's closer to the bin.
Oh god,
are crazy, man.
Oh god, here we go. See, massive controversy right here.
Yeah, it
divides
worlds. Yeah, it divides worlds. This. And can I ask, what's a guy got to do to get himself in your game? I've always wanted to lick myself as a goat.
Oh god, I don't know. I'm not the person to ask about that, really.
Well, but you're the man who knows who, so we've built this relationship. You're going to have to push that forward now.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on your email later on after the podcast.
Yeah, I would like to lick you, Ross. To be honest.
Okay, makes a change. It's usually all the way around.
Oh no, you did lick me in the I forgot about that.
Sophia?
Yes?
Any more questions that you have written down?
Are you asking me if I goat any last words?
Oh my god.
What? I think...
Oh, these are brilliant.
We're terrible.
Whatever
You've heard them all before.
Goat,
Yeah. Well, I think we should maybe come to an end of this then and let Darren goat up the road. But,
yeah, I thought I was going to go to Coachella later today, so...
You've got to be kidding me.
Darren, we know that on Xbox One you have the entire Goat Simulator experience out at the moment, and it's on sale on Black Friday, I believe. So what games are included in that?
Yeah, that includes the original Goat Simulator and the well, I guess sequel somewhat, God Simulator More Gods Edition.
Which includes the zombie and the MMO sim.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I hope all the listeners check that out, especially if you get kids, because my kid adores Goat Simulator. And thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Right, thank you for that interview, Ross. It was really good. Thanks to David Arquette as well for taking the time out to do that interview with us. And we want to apologise for some of the audio quality in that, because Ross is an idiot and he did it through Google Hangouts. So apologise, Ross.
No, fuck off a lot. But yeah, cheers, David. That was really, really interesting. Make sure you do check out Goat Simulator and Goat Simulator More Goats Edition on Steam and Xbox One, etc. It's fantastic fun.
Right, okay. Before we go on to Dave's fact, which we have a bit of feedback for actually, because I don't think Dave understands the concept of a fact, but we'll go into that in a minute. First, we've got our plugs. So, Ross, you got anything to plug?
Yeah, well, Scott Sedman isn't here.
Yay!
But basically, Scott is not here for a reason. He's very, very busy doing a radio show. Okay? So, what we want you to all do is to check out Twitter. Okay? It's a real radio show, which is real as in fishing.
Right, okay. Yeah.
You could have said one. I thought you were going to do one.
Real as in reality.
Real as in real as in real.
But is he sure it's not real as in reality, not real as in move reel, or is it real as in fishing reel?
Let's just put the link in the fucking description.
Okay, it's real as in reality and real as in a film reel. Just search for that or the Real Radio Show on Twitter and go and check them out, do their stuff, tune in on Tuesday. It's going to be good.
Thank you, Ross. And Dave?
No, same as always. Just, go on Facebook, like us, read my news, like my news, send me a love letter.
Share it. Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to plug myself. I'm Kev, at Don't Shoot Tiny on Twitter. And also, send us some feedback this week. We know we get quite a few listeners each week. Don't be afraid. We don't bite. Send us some feedback and we'll read it out. We'll answer anything. Absolutely anything.
When you said I was going to give a bit of feedback about myself, I thought you meant I'm Kevin Tan. I'm looking for a young woman in her 20s to 80s.
Canadian.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Okay.
But also something that no one has actually noticed yet, but no one has actually noticed that every single week for quite a few weeks we've been putting on an outtake post music.
Oh, shush. It's for the hardcore.
Is it?
Yeah.
But I don't actually think anyone hears it because I think they turn off when you hear that Dave's Brothers thing.
Nah, the hardcore stay till the end tunes.
They're my favourite part.
They get rewarded if they stay till the end, and they just they need to listen to that final bit of music, and then they get the pleasure of an outtake. So now everyone
our
knows.
outtakes are better than our end credits scene. I would rather call it is better than the Marvel end credits.
Then Marvel will sue us if we say that.
No, they won't. They wish their end credit scenes were as good as ours.
Yeah, anyway. Right. Moving on to your favourite part of the show, which is Dave's fact. And like I said before, Dave, I've got to ask you a question. Do you know what the definition of a fact is?
Yes.
Could you tell me what that is?
It's a statement or comment that is true.
So, last week, you said that yippee-ki-yay was actually a Yiddish phrase. Now, after a few complaints on Twitter and in email, I actually went and looked that up, and it doesn't appear that that's true. It's like you almost made it up.
No, I definitely read it. The site that I read it from must have been taken down.
Dave, I've looked this up as well, and to be honest, I think it was absolutely bullshit. I think you're going to have to make sure all these facts are proper, checked every single week.
I've got a couple of tweets here from a couple of angry people. Okay. The first one is from at I'm Yiddish and you know it, and it says, as a Yiddish-born young adult, I was appalled to hear you claim yippee-ki-yay was a term for slagging off Santa. Please refrain from bringing my nation into this slander. So that's your first complaint, Dave.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm Yiddish and you know it. I do apologise.
And the next one is from at Big Floppy Disk, and it says, at Outlies Pod, I asked my local rabbi if this fact was indeed true, and now I have been disowned. Hashtag yippee-ki-yay you cunt.
He doesn't sound very happy.
No.
I do apologise.
I think you should apologise and actually give us a real fact this week because, quite frankly, people are going to lose their respect for you. Yeah, you're not going to have no credibility.
They're not going to lose their credibility. I would just like to apologise to all the people of Yidland. I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart.
Now, could we have a true fact, please, this week?
Yes.
You've got this responsibility. Come on.
Yes, this one I have fact-checked. 100% definitely know this one's true.
See if it's not true, I'm coming down to whatever shithole you live in and doing you.
Right.
you don't want to know what doing you means.
No, you don't. Scott knows.
You ready?
Involves a hot dog.
Hide the hot dog.
The 1987 horror comedy Dirty Dancing is widely considered to be the greatest movie of all time. Its most famous scene saw Patrick Swayze saying, "Nobody puts baby in the corner," referring to his lover's irrational fear of right angles. However, what many people don't realise is that the line was changed last minute. Originally, the scene would have seen him exclaim, "Nobody puts baby on a log fire." It was altered as the producer did not want to remind the viewers of Swayze's well-documented love of barbecuing young children.
You're in tune to Out of Lives. www.outoflives.net.
You can't handle the truth.
I'm not quite sure.
We don't eat swans. We don't eat swans.
You don't eat swans, right? But yeah, I'm pretty much sure there's swans all over the country, not just in Lincoln.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them in Lincoln.
Okay, fair
When you
enough.
said that, I thought you meant like the movie Lincoln.
Sophia, we've lost your audio.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. You've done.
See, this is what happens when you offend the swans. They're coming to you.
Like, how, is it like completely gone or how is it?
You sound like a robot.
Oh no, I'm a robot. Maybe I am a robot. Who knows?
The truth is out.
Am I a robot now?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Just start chanting delete, delete.
I'm trying my best to figure this out, guys.
Have you tried turning yourself off and back on again? Oh wait, well that's got a double context.
Oh, Ross. Right. Anyway,
I'll try it again.
there we
There we
go.
go.
Hey, there we go. Sophia's back. Right, just